I call this pre-meeting of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD Board of Trustees to order at 6 p.m. on November 4th, 2021. Purpose of this pre-meeting briefing is to conduct a briefing session with administrative staff regarding the posted agenda for the regular board meeting scheduled for 7 p.m. on November 4th, 2021. For the record, the board members present are Tara Bachik, Sally Derrick, Randy Shackman, Guillermo Ramos, Cassandra Hatfield, and myself, Les Black. Agenda item number 2 is audience for guests. Anyone wishing to speak either as an individual or as a representative of a group may do so during this agenda item. Ms. Castagnon, do we have anyone wishing to speak at this time? Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 3, which are administrative reports. Dr. Chapman, are there any reports by the administration?
Yes, sir. Thank you. First, we're going to have Mr. Bassett. He's going to talk about 5G, investment broker and dealer, 5H, investment policy, and 5I, training related to investment priorities or responsibilities.
Thank you, Dr. Chapman, President Black, members of the board. So these resolutions are all things that are required on an annual basis as per our policy that the board looks at and reviews. Don't really need to talk about these too much. We did just get finished going through some of the policy changes that we made this past year with the audit committee. We aren't recommending any changes in the policy this year. What I did though is I placed at your spot a handout that I reviewed with the board. This is from the report for the year, August 31st, and so this just shows how our investments have progressed compared to some of the benchmarks that are out there. And so you can see we started March 20 being below, the 3-month average, the 6-month, and then we're pretty much right on top of textbook because that's where we had a lot of our funds. So as you can see, we've progressed nicely since we got some of the policy changes and we added some of the pools that the board was able to approve last October. And so anyway, I just wanted to show you the progress that we've made. We're really happy about it. We wouldn't have been able to without the board approving those items, and so we're thankful for that. To give you an idea of what this means financially, I mean, even in a low interest rate environment, because we still are in a low interest rate environment, if you look at February when we started to have some separation from text pool, if you look from February, and then I even added in the dollar amount of our earnings through September, we have earned $493,000 more than text pool, which is where we've had a lot of our funds. We still have funds in text pool because we want to be diversified in our investments. And so a lot of the changes that we've made and the cash management, active cash management that we've done, especially with Carla's help, the Director of Finance, and then Hilltop, which are the financial advisors that you approved for us to use last November. They're the ones who gave us a lot of the strategies to execute. So we've made some progress, and these other items that you're going to approve just help support those things. So, be happy to take any questions.
Okay. Board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Bassett? All right, I see no questions. I just see a thumbs up from Mr. Shackman. So I guess we thank you very much, Mr. Bassett.
All right, next we have 5M, T-Test Appraisers, Mr. Mersch.
Thank you. Dr. Black, Dr. Chapman, members of the board. T-Test is a process, and it's the Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System. And in order to do that, an individual has to have either an ILT, Instructional Leadership Training, an ILD, Instructional Leadership Development, or an AEL, Advanced Educational Leadership Certification. Once an individual has one of those three, they then have to go to a very intensive 3-day T-Test training. And upon completion of the 3-day T-Test training, they can then take a certification exam to be able to be an appraiser for the T-Test system. But they cannot appraise any teachers until it's been approved by you. The majority of these individuals you see in August, but you have individuals that are different points in that process. So as they complete that process and get certified, then they are brought to you so that they can be used as appraisers in CFB. And Another example is late hires. So if we hire someone from another district, and even though they're certified, they cannot do any appraisals or evaluations in CFB until you, as a board, approved it. So that's why you're seeing it more than just in August, and you'll probably see some next month also.
Board members, do we have any questions for Mr. Mersch? Looks like you're off the hook, Mr. Mersch. Thank you very much for the information.
At this time, Mr. Monroe will talk through 5N and 5U.
Thank you, Dr. Chairman, President Black, members of the board. These two items are purchasing approvals. The first one, 5N for Silence protection. Silence is the antivirus, anti-malware software that we use at the computer level across the district on all of our Windows and Apple computers. It's not the lowest cost product on the market, but universally considered the best. And so we are asking to award that to SHI Government Solutions, as they were the low-cost provider on the quotes for that renewal. We've been using Cylance since 2019. The district switched to it after a particular virus event that had some impact with the current solution that was in use then, and so this is a renewal for Cylance. Any questions on that particular one? And then 5U is a project I'm excited about. The FCC issued an E-rate emergency connectivity order this summer as a result of the pandemic and realizing the connectivity that students needed, which is mostly designed for providing hotspots like we provide for at-home use, or schools that didn't have sufficient internet coverage. That didn't specifically list buses as an eligible item, but we wrote up a justification for it and submitted our application to actually provide Wi-Fi connectivity to students while they're on the bus to extend their ability, if that might be their only chance to do homework and things, if they didn't have connectivity where they were going after school, and they approved it with 100% funding. So they're going to fund 100% of putting all of the equipment as well as the service contract to add wireless to our bus. This will also, because of the antennas we're putting on, also enhance our GPS ability of the buses and get better signal for that, as well as the connectivity for Wi-Fi when the buses pull back onto the lot to offload security cameras. And so it's going to provide benefits beyond just the connectivity, but so we're excited to have that project and have it fully funded. That one was awarded to Pivot Technology Services, who fortunately were both the low bid and by far the most technically qualified to install it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Monroe. Board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Monroe about either item 5N or 5U? Mr. Shackman.
Mr. Monroe, congratulations on your team putting together the grant and making this happen. If I understand this correctly, so this is accomplishing really both support for students and any district personnel who would be on the bus, but at the same time it's also supporting our safety and security on the bus.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or comments from board members? Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Monroe. All right. There are no further administrative reports, Dr. Chapman. So we will move to agenda item number 4, which is briefing session with administrative staff regarding posted agenda for the regular board meeting scheduled for 7 p.m. tonight. Item 4, board members, do you have any questions regarding the consent agenda items? Yes, Ms. Urbacek.
No question, but I just want to give notice that I'll be pulling item V as in Victor and W for separate consideration.
Okay, you'll be pulling V as in Victor and W from the consent agenda. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Urbacek. Any further questions? Okay. If there are no further questions about any of the items on the consent agenda, that brings us to our final agenda item, which is adjournment. So we are adjourned at 6:09 p.m.